You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.
Woo! It's about that time. FatMike, Chicago Sports. Yeah. Finally here. Shot City Sports is right here. Updates on news, get it here. No rumors, cause we keep it real. FatMike. Sit back, relax, sugar beer one of them nights.
Hey, this is Carmen DeFalco from ESPN Chicago, and you're listening to the FatMike Sports Show.
Hey, this is Dave Richard from ChicagoSports, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hi, this is Jesse Rogers from the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Merkin, the longtime White Sox beat writer for MLB.com and proud graduate of the University of Michigan. You're listening to me on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
This is Chuck Arfine, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. It's the best.
Hey, what's up? This is Greg Braggs Jr. from Braggs in the Stands, and you're listening to my guys on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. Boom!
Hey everyone, Freddie Huebner from ESPN 1000. Great to be on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. I'm Dan Zaborski, senior writer for Fangraphs, and you're listening to FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
I'm JJ Stankovich from NBCSportsChicago.com and the Undercenter podcast, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey Sparkle, you know what I listen to? It's the FatMike Chicago Sports Show with my guy, Fat Mike. If you listen anywhere else, no shock. Listen to Fat Mike. The best.
All right, and what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, another show of the FatMike Chicago Sports Show here, live at the beautiful Whistle Sports Bar and Grill, 159 Studios here in beautiful downtown Lockport. We are here, and we got a great night for you. I'm fighting this, guys. I'm fighting it. I really, truly trying. I'm trying as hard as I can. My voice is in and out, but I'm here to do a show. This is the best my voice has been in 3 weeks, so let's give it a try. With me tonight, I got our guy here on 1252, Harry the Greek, joining me. We have like a fans show today. It's going to be awesome. We got a Lions fan. Boo. We got a Raiders fan. Boo. We're supposed to have a Bucs fan and a Steelers fan. Boo. But we got our guy, Harry the Greek here, who runs the Over Under podcast on 1252, our betting show, our guy that makes money here, Harry the Greek. Let's welcome him on right now. Harry.
What are you doing, Mike? How you feeling, buddy? Everything sounds good tonight.
I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying so hard.
Yep, you're freezing up just a smidge, buddy. I don't know if you can hear me okay, but that's cool. I mean, I got you, man. Everything is really good here in the hood.
I can hear you.
You know what? I can honestly say?
Good.
I can tell you one thing. We don't have any snow down here on the west coast of Florida, so I'm just letting you know that. It's about 68 degrees. But I'll tell you what, it's supposed to be the coldest record of Christmas weekend in the history of the west coast of Florida. It's going to get that cold. So do me a favor. Make sure by Tuesday you take it back. Oh, wait a minute. It's going to be back in the 80s. Just throwing it out there.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We're supposed to get some snow up here in Chicago area. It first started off that we were going to get 11 to 22 inches of snow, and then it changed from 2 to 6, just like that. So there you go. Our guy John Roloff's already chiming in, saying the Fat Mike Show Christmas edition. Woohoo! John is a forever diet fan here at 1252. I love John. John, thanks for joining us again tonight. Says I'm from Detroit. I'm from the Detroit area, but I ain't no Lions fan.
Let me tell you something. These Detroit Lions, man, they're really surprising some people this year. I'll tell you what, I wasn't on their bandwagon. Being an NFC North guy, you learn to hate well, you know what? My least hated team in the NFC North would be the Lions. The Packers are number one. The Vikings would be number two. And then the Lions. I mean, how can anybody really hate the Lions, man? They've been the lovable losers like your Chicago Cubs have been for so many years.
Yeah, no, I know. Listen, the Lions have stunk forever. But they're a good team. And as we're talking
Oh,
Lions,
they're really
let's bring on our guy.
doing well.
Let's bring on our girl here at the NFL Football Lovers Facebook page, Tiffany Gilsbach. Hopefully I pronounced that right. We're going to bring on Heather, who I think, hopefully this is our Steelers fan. And we got Pris, our Raiders fan, all right here right now.
That's right.
Welcome,
That's
guys.
right.
Welcome.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Mitch Trubisky blows. Yes, he blows.
Look,
Hey.
Trubisky does blow.
Hey, stop. Mitch Trubisky. First off, it's Mitchell. His mother wants everybody to call him Mitchell.
Whatever, Mitch. I can't say the rest.
They have totally ruined him. Between Chicago and Pittsburgh, you guys have totally ruined him. He is not terrible, Mike.
He is terrible.
Oh, stop it.
We love it like that. We're going to see how terrible he is on this weekend.
You know, talking about Pittsburgh, man, what a shame. Franco Harris, hats off to him. I mean,
my heart
such
breaks.
a shame. Oh, it's just unbelievable what has happened to him. What a great what a great player, a great spokesperson. You know, he just embodied the whole city of Pittsburgh. And hell, let me tell you something. He embodied the entire National Football League for so many years with him. But it still wasn't a catch, though.
Of course it was.
Now they're about to retire his jersey just right in the next month, right?
Yeah, they're doing it. They're going to do it for the game.
Saturday before the game. This is the 50-year anniversary, and they were retired. They're retiring his number, his jersey, at the game on Saturday.
Yeah, against the Raiders.
Against the Raiders.
Yes. Actually, before we get into that, we have some group members. I'm not sure if anyone's watching me. I'm all about the group. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day to give us a watch, to ask us any questions. I know we have a question for Scott about his guns, how he gets his guns like that. But thank you so much for joining the group. We're officially a little bit over a year old, and we just enjoy you every day. And we really appreciate you being there, posting, sharing, commenting. We would not be a group without you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, 100%. And Pris, give us the group name one more time so everybody can hear, everybody can download, everybody live right now. What is the group name on Facebook?
It's National Football Lovers. So it's going to be NFL, which is just basically the acronym for National Football Lovers. And it is a group for all fans. We do have a lot of Raiders fans, of course, Steelers, Bills, Bucks, but it is a group for all fans to come in and comment on every post. Just keep it respectful. So hopefully you're joined. We have a lot of fun, don't we, Heather?
Yep.
That's great. And within a year, I mean, you're just 8 members shy of having 3,000 members.
Yeah.
We have over 3,000 members right now. So, when we first started, honestly, I've been in different Facebook groups, and there's always groups for a bunch of different teams. It says that, but there's no real community. And, I don't want to go on. I mean, I want to argue, but I want to do it in a fun way, to where we go on and we comment about stuff. And at the end of the day, we're laughing about it. So I reached out to Kidda, Heather, Andre, Dion, who else? Kenneth, a couple of the admins and mods. And I said, you know what? I want to join a group. I mean, I want to start a group. I said, I don't know, though, because that's a lot of work. I really don't want to do it, but I want somewhere fun. If we can just get 100 members to come in and start commenting, we're going to be fine. At least we could talk about, football. And it just really just,
blew up.
My heart is just still warm from what they said. Andre reached out. He was like, what do you need? They were like, don't even worry about adding anyone. All you do is get the group set up, and we're going to start adding members. I mean, and that's what they did. And somehow, Tiffany, you got added, and Scott got added. Robert got added. Neil got added. Daniel. There's a couple other people that got added, and they just started just adding all of their friends. Not just Raiders, not just Steelers, not just Lions. It was all different fan bases, and the group just kind of blew up. So it's really a blessing to find so many like-minded people that love this sport. and they just want to have fun. You don't see that too often, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it. I really truly am.
That's a great story.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We agree to disagree.
We have a lot of football to get into. A lot of football. So
What you got, Mike?
I want to start. Let's start with the best team in this class right now, and it's the Lions.
That's
the
what's
best
up.
team out of all 5 teams right here that we got representing the Bucs, the Lions, the Raiders, the Steelers, and the Bears. All right, the best team out of all 5 of those teams is the Lions. Can you believe that? At 500, 7-7, the best team on the sheet tonight is the Detroit Lions. So everybody go around besides Tiffany and say something nice about the Detroit Lions.
What?
Harry, we'll start with you.
Well, you know what? I'll go first because I wish I would have pulled up the post a year ago. I got in a big argument with someone, an argument, a fun discussion.
No, we just lose her.
Hey, Mike, let me pull her back in. You got her? Okay.
Start again. We accidentally removed you. We got you. We got your back.
Okay. So, and I said the Lions, I said the Vikings, and I said the Jaguars, and I forget the 4th team I said. And I argued with someone about Danny Dimes and the Giants. But the Lions, I said next year, I said all they needed because they had that big game last year. And I said all they needed just to play with consistency. And I said, you have to understand, they had a lot of their offensive line players out. They had their best players out last year, and they still put the best team on notice. And I said last year, I said, listen, watch. And you know how they are. You guys know. You're in the group. No one wants to listen to me. So I said, okay. So now I get to say I told you so. I get to say I told you. I get to say I told you so. I do feel like they're going to win a Super Bowl, but I feel like my Raiders are going to get there first. Sorry, Tiffany.
Man, I'll tell you what. I haven't been so proud, but I feel you. I've been watching.
That was something nice. That was something nice.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'll actually.
Go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead. We'll start. We'll go with you. We'll go with you right now. Go ahead. Say something nice. Say something nice about your Detroit Lions. Go ahead.
Our Detroit Lions completely represent the city of Detroit in their grit and their resiliency and the way they keep coming back for more. They're down, but they're going to keep coming back up. And that's just the life of the city. It's the life of everything Detroit's been through, the bankruptcy, the restoration, the rejuvenation. And the team is embodying that. And so there's this entire energy that's happening in the city and in this Metro Detroit part of the state that's just on fire in a way that it hasn't been in my whole life. And I'm 42. So this has been a truly exciting culmination of both our sport team, specifically the Lions, and the city, seeing this incredible flip of the work they put in. They earned it.
That they did.
Now, Heather, I know you're a Pittsburgh fan. Heather, you're a Pittsburgh fan. Say something nice about the Lions.
So I can honestly say that I've never hated the Lions. And I agree with her. You can see them as down and out as they can be, but they still fight their way back. And they do. They put up one hell of a fight.
I think it's great too because since this is
That's definitely not Harry.
Oh, this was me. I was just saying something about the fans because since we are talking about this is a fan-based group, I will say that the Lions fan base, from minute one, they just took me in and said, hey, what do you need, whatever. So
Yeah.
I think the team, when Tiffany was talking about the team, I think that's just the embodiment of the organization because even, the fans, they're like, oh, well, you got to come out. Don't worry about if we're not playing the Raiders. Come out, hang out with us. And that's what we want. We love that because I want to go to games to where maybe my Raiders aren't playing, but I show up at a Vikings versus Lions game or something like that. And I do believe that the Lions fans, they're right up there. They just they're very welcoming just from
Pris,
minute one.
You just said a Vikings versus Lions game, and we just had that. And we actually had a young lady from Denver Broncos who came out and stayed with our crew, all on her own, and wanted
Mike,
to have
let me help you.
So it was we absolutely are we're fans of fans, all the crew that I'm a part of that I added in your group, and we are all about the fan base of all teams. We respect your love for your team. Many of the fan bases belong to tailgates that are, connected with a philanthropy or a charity base of some sort. And then when they're going and they're traveling to these other teams and these away teams, I've had the pleasure to be in Denver, Detroit. I've been in Atlanta, Dallas, Arizona. I've been in Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and most of my crew have been to double, if not all. And in those stadiums, I've had the pleasure of meeting incredible fans, absolutely incredible fans. And so, there's networks out there like the National Tailgate Hall of Fame, and each team has, tailgates that are connected with the Tailgate Hall of Fame. So they know that there's a fan base, visiting a home team will absolutely be happy to host that away team. And that's why when you started the group a year ago, based on that alone, wanting to be fans of fans and having a place to safely come and banter on a positive note about the sport, about teams, about fandom, and fanatics in general, I was here for it. And that is why I was able to add as many people as having those connections, and then building out my own fan base. Detroit Lions has all over the country, and I imagine the other teams do too. I know we've got the Detroit Lions fan club of Colorado Springs. I ran that for a few years while I was out there with a friend. Atlanta's got a Detroit Lions hub. The Treasure Coast of Florida's got a Lions club. Dallas Fort Worth. Green Bay's got a group called Behind the Cheddar Curtain, which is fantastic. And then there's One Pride Worldwide. We've got fans that come over regularly every season from England. I call one of them Ryan. I refer to him as London. He comes over with his accents and enjoys the game and travels for a couple of weeks before he heads back. And so
you guys have a lot of good groups, just organizations in general. Heather, you're very quiet. And Heather, I grew up with Heather. Heather and I have known each other. We're like lifelong friends. We've known each other for a very long time. Wow. And I did not know when we were living
in elementary school.
Yeah, I did not know she was a Steelers fan, because we probably would not have been as good of friends. No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. But Heather is great. So Heather, I actually want to ask you, because you've been a Steelers fan for a very long time. Do you have any knowledge of what Big Ben is doing? I've heard he might want to come back, or just I want to hear about a little bit about the Steelers, because you guys are dealing with the loss to your organization. So
word on the street is he is enjoying life right now with his kids and his family. We have heard several things that he may want to come back in a coaching capacity. I'm down for it. I don't like our offensive coordinator as it is, so I wouldn't object to it at all.
I was going to say he's definitely way too old to play quarterback at this point.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong. We all love Ben, but there comes a time in a day when it's time to sit down and let somebody else take the reins.
Yeah,
I just
can't. You gotta go.
I just wish Pickett would stay healthy and, advance, because we all like what we see so far.
Unfortunately, Pickett is not the answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Neither
And
is
I
Mitchell
agree with that.
Trubisky. Pickett is definitely not the answer for this football team. He cannot make all the throws. He's not really fleet of foot when he comes moving out of the pocket, and he has zero, and I mean zero, backside presence, especially when it comes to the rush. When it comes to the rush,
right.
it's pretty bad right now.
Put him in this weekend. Put him in this weekend then.
Well, it
Listen,
depends. Listen, if he's going to be the franchise quarterback that the Pittsburgh Steelers are envisioning that he's going to be, you need to keep him upright and keep him healthy right now. There's no reason.
I agree.
You got to keep Mitchell Trubisky out there. But going back to when Mike wanted me to say something about the Detroit Lions, I'd like to touch on that really quick. First off, the Detroit Lions, they've been the cellar boys of the NFC North way back when, before they did the realignment. I knew Coach Fonts. He grew up in Tarpon Springs. He lived in Tarpon Springs, Florida, down here. It's not even a couple of miles away from where I live. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But they've always been a doorstep. So everybody had to root for the Lions. 2 weeks ago, when they were playing the Minnesota Vikings, and everybody knew that the Vikings were favorite in the game to start the week, and all of a sudden, The Detroit Lions were favorite in this game. You know why? Because they're the better team. I have never seen anybody, and thank God we don't have a Minnesota fan on here. I have never seen a worse 11-3 team in the history of football. Even after the comeback after the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to tell you right now.
That was a great game, though.
You line up Detroit right now with a healthy secondary. That's the key part. They got to get their secondary healthy, and you have them play against Minnesota, and Detroit puts up 10 on the bottom line against them. They would beat them.
I agree with
that's
that.
Why I said That's why I said last year, and that's what my argument was last year. Even when they didn't play well, they had their ups and downs. They weren't consistent. I said they have a lot of players out. Either their offensive weapons are out, or the O-line is out. They weren't like a cohesive team the entire year, and they still were able to beat the best team. But I do feel like that. I mean, they're poised. They're poised to do something. I just feel like the Raiders are going to get there first, of course. But I do feel like the Lions are going to surprise a lot of people.
Let me tell you something. The Detroit Lions right now have the Mo, and the Mo means it's called the momentum.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Raiders, they had that 1 or 2 game win streak going on. Right now, they are the most talented football team. They are the biggest disappointment in the National Football League, in my opinion, for the talent that they have. They're not going anywhere this year. That's next year, and they may have to do something with the coaching stage.
Exactly. But this is my thing with the Raiders. We could as far as the Raiders go, you can have, so you're not really subpar because you're in the NFL, but you can have decent players and have an excellent coach, and
Mike,
you
where
can
did Pris
show up
go?
the best players. I'm here.
Oh, hey, Pris, sorry about that. We lost somebody.
Yeah.
Pris is still there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I said you can have not really the best players, but have a heck of a coach, and you can put together a winning roster. It's all about understanding your players. If you don't understand what your player can do, then you should not be a head coach. And you're going to get me fired up on this because as far as our head coach goes, I respect him, but you should not be coaching our guys, period. Point blank, period. I don't know how you walked in the building, but you should have never been allowed in the building because you're designing plays to have nothing to do with our guys. We have the best wide receiver in the game, the best, and you don't even.
That's debatable.
False.
Well, you lose them for
I absolutely love him, but man, Justin Jefferson, if you don't bow down and kiss that, if you don't bow down and kiss his ring, oh Lord,
I'm not gonna. I don't bow down to any players. I'm a Raiders fan, number one. Period. As far as Adams, look at Adams' numbers with the number of times he gets the ball. Maybe 6 touches, and he's right up there with him. If he got the touches that he should be getting, which is common sense and football 101. He would not be lower than anyone right now. You're losing him. With some quarters, we don't even score. If you watch us play, there are whole quarters to where Adams is like, is he even in the game? You're pushing the ball with Jacobs, which is stupid because you're making him run hard plays.
Now you need a running game.
Field and hit Akins. You do need a running game, but if you open up the field, it's not a hard run.
If you didn't lose Amari Cooper, hang on. Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say was, had Amari Cooper not left and Devontae Adams actually had a true number 2 opposite of him, they wouldn't be double covering and triple covering him, just like they're doing in Tampa Bay against Mike Evans. The last 5 games, with the exception. No, it's really not different because what people are doing to the number 1 wide receiver is they're putting a corner right up on top of the line of scrimmage. They got safety help over the top, and they have a linebacker leaning in to take away completely on Devontae Adams. Had they had a true number 2 receiver, it would be different.
I disagree with that. The main reason why I disagree with that is because we have a coach that does not understand the game. If you ever watch us play, this is what we do. We do Jacobs one game. We hit Adams because Adams gets a lot of yards, maybe 6 touches. He has 100 and some yards. So we win or we lose. We don't score. We don't mix it up enough. So, of course, if it's common sense, if anybody's watching us play, I know we're going to go Jacobs, and then we're going to forget about Adams. And then if we're going to Adams, we're going to hit him 2 or 3 times. So, of course, I'm going to double team him. That's the way that works.
Double? They're being triple teamed on most of his plays.
Yeah.
right.
Well, but I'm saying
All
though,
right,
but it doesn't matter
this is
because
supposed
the
to,
way
this
our
is supposed
players
to
are
be a
designed.
quick question. This was supposed to be a quick question. We have a lot to get to. We have a lot to get to, Pris. We have a lot to get to. We were still talking about the Lions. Let's get our guy in here. Our guy from the Bucs here. He's finally enlisted. He finally figured out his phone.
Well, I had to come,
Scott
had to
Bradford.
come home. I
Scott,
had to
say
come home to
something
my computer.
nice.
Hi, Scott.
Say something nice about the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Hey, they're coming on strong. You got to give them all the credit in the world. Dan Campbell's got those boys playing great. And at the start of the season, they look like a typical Lions season, but he's got the players buying in right now, and they're playing great. They're playing probably the best in the NFC Central the NFC North. I call it the Central because I'm old school.
Okay, there you go. Harry, you already said your nice thing about the Lions. My nice thing about the Lions, I love their head coach, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, this guy is unbelievable. This guy is a head coach that I would run through a wall for, and I'm not even a Lions fan. I like the way he's biting off kneecaps. I like the way he has his team playing. This guy should be the coach up there for many years to come.
Agreed.
So I want to say this. We're going to go about this again. So the Lions are off the board. Let's go to the next. This is a coin flip here, Harry. This is a coin
I'm
flip
just
here.
sending you all some blue Kool-Aid real soon.
Three teams here. The Steelers, Raiders, and Bucs are all tied at 6 and 8. Oh my goodness gracious! Oh my God! We're gonna do this quickly, because we already ate a half an hour on the Lions, guys. What the hell are we doing here? All right.
Well, this should be really quick.
I'm gonna start. Yeah, let's start it off with the Steelers. Heather, we'll start off with you, then back to me, then to Pris. We'll figure it the fuck out. Let's just keep it rolling. Heather, say something nice about your Steelers.
I bleed black and yellow through and through. I mean, win or lose, I'm there. And we have an amazing fan base. I'm getting ready to leave the Delaware area. I belong to a Delaware Steelers club here and have already found the fan base club in Charlotte, which is one of the biggest on the East Coast. It's they meet at Dilworth in Charlotte, and I'm looking forward to interacting and seeing what happens there. So we just have an amazing team. They're like family. I love the community support that they give. And what else can I say? They're great.
All right, there you go, Harry. Harry, go ahead, say something nice about the Steelers.
You're kidding, right? You got my quarterback. You got my buddy. You got my boy, Money Mitch. How can you not like the Steelers? I'm only kidding. Listen, what I like about the Steelers, really, honestly, not much. Never have been a huge Steeler fan, but I'll tell you what I do like. The team knows how to win. That team knows how to win. You got one of the best head coaches in the National Football League, but unfortunately, you can kiss him goodbye this year because I'm telling you right now, you heard it first. He's going to Carolina. But the Steelers probably are going to finish over 5. I don't know if they can finish over 500. I don't think they can actually get there. But you know what? They're going to sure as hell fight.
You really think he's going to Carolina?
Yes, I honestly do. I have a lot of inside information with that right now.
Tomlin's a hell of a coach.
Tomlin's one of the most underrated football coaches in the history of the National Football League. What he has done with inferior teams. Look what he did with Big Ben, who couldn't get the ball 35 yards downfield. He couldn't even outrun anybody on this panel in his last 2 years of his season. That guy took a beat, and he was like a Timex
Now,
watchman.
do I have to say something nice about them or no?
Sure, absolutely.
Why you say yes, Heather?
I got to say something nice.
Okay, no, well, listen. This is my nice thing to say about the Steelers. First and foremost, my second favorite color is black, so they have that going for them. As far as anything else nice, when we beat them this weekend, we're going to send them home with a nice care package. We're going to wish them a very, very Merry Christmas. And perhaps we'll pop some champagne in the locker room. I mean, I really don't have that many nice things to say about them. I do believe what the coach has done there has been great. But that's about it.
Just in case anybody was interested
Was
in
that nice
that
enough,
game right
Emma? Do
now,
you want to keep going?
that game, just in case anybody was interested in that game between the Raiders and the Steelers are actually favored by 2.5 points. Just throwing that out there. Tiffany, you got something nice to say about the Steelers?
I do. I tell you what, though, I like the culture of the Steelers, where they're in that Iron City belt type of thing, or that Steel City, and they're grinders too, right? So again, I have always respected that coach, but he's been around for 14 seasons. A lot of consistency there with the work that he's done, but their fan base is great. The Yinzer mob was really welcoming. I like the stadium itself. Just it was a really great experience. So they've put out some pretty incredible athletes over the years that have, broke records and done wonderful things. So overall, I think it's a respectable program. It's not my favorite by any means, obviously, but I do respect they have done well.
Yeah, that's very good.
That was great, Tiffany. Thank you very much.
Yeah. See, we're just being too kind here. Scott, tell them how much you really love Pittsburgh Scott, tell them how much you love Pittsburgh after they handed Tampa their ass in that one game. Go for it, Scott.
Well, I love Tomlin. He's a hell of a coach. He's probably one of my favorite coaches in the league, and I wish we had him in Tampa over Bowles any day, because Bowles.
Oh, stop it!
Bowles is in over his head. Okay, he's a coordinator at best, not a head coach. But anyways, I digress.
Okay, well, you know what? When we get to the Tampa segment, I have a couple of things for you, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to kind of make your mind blow a little bit. Scott, are you from the Tampa Bay area?
Yes, I'm from Bradenton, Florida. I grew up in the Tampa Bay area, and I'm a native of Florida. So
I'm a native of Chicago. Been down here for so many years. I am just north of you, just in the north side of St. Pete, in a town called Seminole on the west coast.
I know where you're at. Yeah, I'm in Bradenton, Sarasota area.
Yep, I know exactly where you're at. So everybody said something nice about the Lions. I believe they said something. I don't know if we said anything good about the Raiders yet, but we did.
I got something to say about the Raiders.
What do you got, Mike?
The Raiders
Go ahead. Come on, Fat Mike, talk to me.
Something good about the Raiders. They're going to have a draft pick this year where they can finally find a quarterback. Because Carr's not the answer. Carr stinks. Carr stinks.
Pris, I'm going to let you go ahead and respond to that.
Huh? Well, first and foremost, I think that it's sad that people blame Derek Carr for everything. If someone breaks a fingernail in the United States of America, they're going to blame Derek Carr.
It almost sounds like President Trump, They would want to blame him for everything. They want to blame Carr.
That's a whole. We're not even going to open up the whole can of worms right now on that. But it's, and I feel like that the guy really
the Raiders great again.
Yes, he could play better, but at the same time, he's accomplished a lot for what we've had. A lot of people don't realize all last season, he was the reason why we went to the playoffs. He's calling plays. He's out there taking hits to get the pass interference. He's literally coaching Thanksgiving game. He loses everyone except for Renfro. He's out there coaching. He's out there playing quarterback. He's getting hit in the pocket, trying to get the pass interference. He's doing absolute everything, and the guy gets no respect. My thing is this. If anyone that's his age or younger feels like they can do better, hey, let me know. I'm going to get your workout. Suit up and show me. Because until you do that, then all you're doing is just noise. Because I've sat up there and watched the guy, what he can and can't do. Is he the number one quarterback in the league? Probably not. Is he a decent quarterback? Yes. He's accomplished way more than what he should be accomplishing with the players that we've had come and go. And with
Damn,
the coaching
Pris,
that
that's like
had.
a mic drop. I'll tell you what, you're bringing that knowledge. Oh, stop it, Mike. That's not even nice. Scott, what you got? Scott, what do you have for Pris on the Raiders?
On the Raiders, well, they have an outstanding fan in Pris. But yeah, they have a great tradition. The silver and black is a great tradition. Their fans are very loyal, and they haven't had success as of recently, but they have a great history, and I'm sure they're all hoping they can get back there one day.
Yep.
I'm hoping the glitz of Vegas hasn't deterred them and of that old style of Oakland the way they used to be.
Fat Mike, tell us something good about the Raiders. Okay, we heard that from Mike.
Draft pick.
Well, the issue with Vegas is when we moved to Vegas, we basically gave up having a home game, and that's what no one realizes. Vegas
right.
is a tourist spot, so it's designed to have other people come there. So literally, when we went there, it was with the understanding that we technically do not have a home stadium. It's called our stadium, but it's a tourist spot. So you're going to get a lot of fans from all fan bases. You're probably going to most times have more fans than what you're going to have Raiders fans, because that's what Vegas is about.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have what we had in Oakland.
All right, so we got a couple more teams to go through. I'm sorry to cut you guys off. We only run about an hour and 15 on this show, so we got to make it through the next couple of teams here. We're through the Steelers, the Raiders, the Lions. Let's go through the Bucs. I know Harry's a Buck fan. Scott, you're a Buck fan. Scott, let's lead
I'm
it
a
off with
Bears
your
fan, guys.
Who's a Bears fan?
I am. I live in the Tampa Bay area. I do root for the Buccaneers, but I am a football fan most and foremost. But Scott, you and I are going to have a little bit of fun with this one because I have ties in the Tampa Bay area, in the Buccaneer organization, and
so do I.
You might have a
Scott
little bit of fun with this one, but
well.
go for it, Scott. Tell us something nice about your Tampa
go ahead,
Bay Buccaneers.
Scotty. What do you got?
Something nice. We have great fans. They're very loyal. Ownership. The ownership always tries. They always try to hire the right people.
That is a dope ass hat too, by the way.
I like that.
Old school all the way. But anyways,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we have a beautiful stadium we play in, and as of late, it was last few years have been awesome. To see Tom still have it, and looks like Father Time's caught up with him. But losing our offensive line this year, like Ryan Jensen, that really hurt us.
I know who this is, Scott. Oh my God, I know exactly who you are now. Jesus, I just
Who's
had to
this?
look you up. So we all have the same ties with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy and Peter Blake and
Yes.
the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
if you do listen to the shows that are on the Sports Web here in about 15 minutes, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, and I run Bucks. I'm owner of Bucks Life Media.
You're BLM?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy.
Scott has
Peter,
a bunch
please,
of groups.
Please
Scott,
forgive
please
me,
tell him
Peter,
your
for
groups.
I have sinned.
Peter's a good guy, and I know him real well.
Peter's awesome. Ray's good people. Peter's good guy. I've been.
Do you know Paul Stewart of BuckPower.com?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine too, over in the UK.
We just don't talk. Paul Stewart's an extraordinary individual, by the way. And if anybody has this, you want to talk about the ultimate fan?
Yes.
Everybody looks about Paul Stewart. The man's in England. You got to remember, there's 6 hours across the pond. When the Bucks are playing a late game, he's up till 5 o'clock in the morning and then doing a podcast live on all 3 platforms, talking about his Buccaneers. You talk about love.
And he's messaging me while the game's going on.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. He's just an extraordinary guy, absolutely extraordinary guy. But the only thing we're not allowed to talk about on this program is BR, my former Bucks report. I do not talk about him.
You know what? Guess what? Those guys gave us so big of a hassle and a hard time that they're the only ones that are not welcome to be talked about too. So we agree on that.
Good. So we'll agree on that. Okay, so
maybe
say something nice about the Bucks.
Something nice to say.
Go for it, Tiff.
Tiffany, go ahead.
Because otherwise, I'm going to have to ask everybody. I think Scott will get a kick out of this. Mike might even know. Hey, Mike, what'd you have for dinner? It was a joke. Hi, Tiff.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Nothing yet. I'm starving.
I do have one story. I never did get a chance to say anything nice about the Raiders, but I got a story that is a real true story that happened with that. But I'll save that for later if we have time. This is a little bit of a confession too on my feelings about the Raiders. So I got to tell you that, Pris. And as far as the Tampa,
definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of a juicy drama moment that I to this day I've never experienced anything like it before. But anyways, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, they obviously have had some really good last couple of years. It's been kind of fun to watch them mellow out a couple of players that have come over from from Detroit Lions over the course of years and years. But they, you know, I like their fan base. I like what they've been doing. I think they've had success. I don't really have too much else to say. It's a stadium I haven't visited in person yet. I would probably want to do that later in the season, given weather. But yeah,
I'm with you there, Tiffany. I'll join you.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'll join you
I
guys
was going to
too.
say I'm
I guess
in for that.
All right, Tiff. How about
I'll
something
go
about the
next.
Buccaneers? Let's hear something about Tom Brady, who everybody says that father time has passed him, but he's a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. Go for it.
You asking me about Uncle Tom, Mr.
Uncle Tom? Give
Tom
us something.
Brady? I know. Yeah. I think.
Whoa.
No, sorry.
Whoa.
What,
Sorry,
I didn't say. We're talking about Uncle Tom Brady.
You mean Father Time?
I just realized.
Did you know? I just caught that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Uncle Tom Brady, old man Brady. Like,
we're canceled.
TV number
Good job,
12.
Tiffany. My show's canceled.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head at myself right now. But anyways, they have he's a fantastic quarterback. I mean, you cannot take away from the fact that he has more rings than any other quarterback. He's done incredible things. I've always said, if you're really that big of a goat, then bring your ass to Detroit. Let's see what you can do. Right now, I'm super, super happy to see what Goff is doing. But I do think that maybe that Brady could consider maybe, I don't know, working on his family things or taking care of personal life. But his priorities are evident. It's the game he wants to play.
Without question. Pris, what do you got for Tom Brady
Okay,
and the
well,
Buccaneers?
I feel I do feel like Brady's the GOAT, and I know a lot of Raiders fans don't want to hear that. But listen, as far as the Tuck rule, we have more time left on the clock, so that's the end of that. If we can't stay in the game, that's that. Period.
Damn, girl,
you
drop more microphones than anybody I've ever met. Let me tell you something, Pris.
I'm saying, I'm
got
just keeping it real.
Girlfriend, you got it going on. Let me tell you that. Heather, you've been kind of like the church mouse sitting up in the corner over there. Heather, talk to me. What do you got to say about them Buccaneers and that Tom Brady?
I just think Tom's time is up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's time for him to. I mean, my mom, God rest her soul, was a Patriots fan, and she absolutely loved him. But I just think, as everybody said, Father Time has been Uncle Tom, and it's time for him to sit down.
Whoa!
Let me finish saying what I was saying real quick. As far as Brady goes, I think he is probably the GOAT as far as some people see it. But the game has changed. The game that Brady's used to playing is no longer there. It's stronger, faster. The pocket's not going to sit there. It's not going to allow him to sit there and wait. He's going to have to add something to his game if he wants to come back next year, or he needs to do something different. He needs to look into ownership, because the game as he know it is no longer there. It's not there. It's stronger, faster.
Well, the problem with Brady,
he can't be a coach.
The problem with Brady this year, I can tell you this right now, he didn't lose any of his arm strength. He still has that. But, he doesn't move around in the pocket like he used to. And I always say a good offensive line will hide deficiencies of an offense.
His O-line doesn't hide it.
No, he doesn't hide it, because Ryan Jensen is their all-pro center, okay? And he made all the line calls. The guy was top 3 center. Okay, and they lost him right the first day of training camp, and then they lost a swing guy in Aaron Stinney. So they're already down 2 guys. The one they used as a swing guy to come in, played in position with center, and then they lost Ryan Jensen, who made all the wide calls, and then they lost Wirfs. But Wirfs going to be coming back either this week or next week. But losing Ryan Jensen was huge. And
you know what?
Well, I think what.
Go ahead, Pris.
I think what helped hurt the Bucs though is because you weren't really sure about Brady, and you weren't able to really compensate for that. Because you can have, when you look at Russell Wilson, they should have protected him more. When you look at Tom Brady, if you're going to have someone like that back, and you understand your quarterback, and he's not going to scramble in the pocket, he's just going to be doing whatever he does, sitting there like a deer in headlights. Either you're going to compensate for that, or you're not. And if you're not, then you're going to suffer. You're going to have a bunch of L's up on your screen like everyone else. That's just what it is, and they didn't compensate for that.
Well, not to mention too, Byron Leftwich is so predictable on offense. He runs on first down every freaking time.
Yeah, well, that changed on the last game. You know what? This is where I'm going to get involved. And Scott, with all due respect, I just got to tell you a few things here, okay? First off, you got a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. I have never been a Tom Brady supporter. Let me throw that one right out there. But here's the problem. When you're a Michael Jordan in the National Football League and you get your head coach fired, okay? True. You get your head coach fired, and then you appoint someone, and I'm unretired now. I'm going to come back because Todd Bowles is going to be your head coach, or anybody. It could have been you, Scott, that came and ran this organization. He would have played. But here's the problem that I have. Before the season started, you're going to be like, wow, this makes sense. I'm going to miss 2 weeks of football in the preseason. Everybody's saying, well, he doesn't play. Bullshit. I understand he doesn't play. He still has to be on the sideline. He's your field general. And wait a minute, just before you're getting ready to play a game and you have to do a walkthrough on a Saturday, you're hanging out with your old boss. Hold on. Going to his wedding.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look.
No, it wasn't a good look either. And here's the other problem. Well, you lost not one, but 2 offensive linemen in the preseason. You lost your third one by game 3. And the left tackle, okay, forget about it. He's given up the cheeks on every single play. But let me give you the reality. 20 touchdown passes, 3,800 yards passing, and they're running the ball 80% of the times. You can't do that. You cannot do that to be successful. Tom Brady needs to put the playbook down. That's the problem. And unfortunately, they're not making the playoffs this year. They'll be lucky to win another game. Unfortunately. Sorry, Buck fans.
Well, I'm going to tell you, just because of their crappy division, they probably will be in the playoffs first round.
Make the
Not only because their division sucks so bad, they just suck the least.
Yeah, no, I got to agree with that, but it's just a shame when you have that much talent on this roster, okay, to be a perennial Super Bowl favorite in the NFC over the Rams, who, by the way, are even worse shape. Yes. Okay, and then I love the people that question me. So, Harry, when you're breaking down these tapes and you're handicapping these games, what are you seeing? Wouldn't they be better off with having Bruce Arians under center? And the fact and the bottom line is, no, you'd have less wins because you're not going to throw the ball 75% of the times. You'd be throwing it 85% of the times because it's going to be the old Jerry Glanville offense. It's just going to be the chuck and duck. They had no running game whatsoever. It's a shame what they have done. And everybody on this panel knows that it's easier to run a football than it is to pass.
Oh, yeah,
that's what Tampa Bay's had their problems with. I'm done with my rant. I got nothing nice to say about this organization right now. And Tom Brady ought to be ashamed of himself for allowing this bullshit to happen here in Tampa Bay. And it's really it's tarnishing his actual legacy because of what's happening.
Exactly.
And eventually it's going to come out. And by the way, his wife, she already said it publicly. There's no more white magic going to be sprinkled over him. Google it, you'll laugh.
Well, to me, and this is me. So I feel like if Brady's
Sorry,
playing
Scott,
football,
I'm pretty passionate.
Fine. But I don't feel like whatever is going on with him personally, as far as whatever. I mean, I get that the organization is going to deal with that, but to me, I don't feel like it's any of my business. Me personally, as a football fan, as a Raiders fan first, but as a lover of the game second, I don't want to beat a team. Well, I'll take the win, don't get me wrong, but I don't need to be beating teams or hoping to beat teams at their worst. Show me your best. I want to take you flat out at your best, knock you back at your best, and then you can sit down and be quiet. That's just
absolutely
me. So I want to see Brady at his best. I want to see Brady go out at his best because as a lover of the game, I want to see that.
What you got, Fat Mike? Sorry, Heather. Go ahead, Heather.
Pris.
I said that time
Bears.
Pris, I love you. Pris, I love you, but
now let's do the Bears. Oh, you know what?
Any team at their best beats the Raiders.
Hey, Pris, do I need to message Watt? Do I need to message Watt and tell him to pick Carr up off the ground on Saturday?
Oh, Lord have mercy. That's just that. I think we're going
I think you need to save your phone calls because you're probably going to be calling Vanna White and asking for help at this point.
Oh, I don't think
you're getting ahead of yourself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So.
You guys, this is one thing you guys like to do. Ask Dallas. Let's just end this right now, and then we'll get to the Bears. Ask those Dallas fans what happened last year. For like a whole month, we heard about the Thanksgiving game, and then Thanksgiving, it was radio silent, quiet as a little mouse, pin
Listen,
dropping in
anytime
the
Dallas
room
sits down and
because
is
they wouldn't
quiet is
listen.
a good thing.
You know, I got to do this because I know my boy Peter Blake is watching, and so is a couple of other people that's going to find this. I got to pull this comment up here. Troy Polamalu says, Peter would love to be on this show. He never speaks to girls.
Poor guy.
Hang on. And Troy also says, ladies, would you be interested in a date? Asking for Peter Blake.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
So I got one last question for all you guys.
Go
I got
for it,
one
Fat.
last question for all you guys before we head on out. Of the teams that are here right now, we got the Raiders, the Bucks, the Lions, the Steelers, and the Bears.
The Bears.
Put those five teams in a draft. Which quarterback gets selected number one?
Oh, Lord have
Easily.
mercy. Can I? And who is it?
Jared Goff.
What?
No way. You
All right. Sorry. Mike?
I think, you know what?
Mike?
To be
Mike.
honest,
Off with her head.
I'm going to go.
I'm kidding.
Go with Brady in his prime.
It's not
Brady.
Trubisky.
Yeah, it's not Brady.
Last. I mean, let's be face it. He's last. You're looking. Of course, you're going to do Brady because we know what he's done now. But when
I'll
Brady,
take
remember when
Brady.
Brady's old school picture? We don't know. So it might be Brady. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you right now. I love Carr as my QB1, but I also love Fields. That was the other team I said was gonna do well. I spoke about Fields last year when everyone was like, whatever. I knew he was gonna do what he was gonna do, and I love young QBs to step in the game and show no fear. That's what Derek Carr did for us when he stepped in the game all those years ago. So if besides Brady, I would have to say Carr and Fields with the close second. That's
wow.
me.
Wow. You know what's really interesting? I'm glad that's a pretty cool question that you're going to ask. But did you know that the Chicago Bears, out of the 11 losses that they have this year, that have been by one possession, by actually one score, 7 of those games out of the 11, and that's going without a number one wide receiver and a completely decimated defense. But a lot of people know that they don't know. They got $150 million in cap space next year and a ton of draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a lot of good young players. And the one thing about the Bears, what I love about them is, remember I call it the water game, to where they're having fun. One of the best things to see when the team is winning is great, but one of the absolute best things to see is when a team is having fun together and they're laughing, they're joking, they're having the water game. And I think a lot of the Bears losses, it was just little, mistakes, little rookie mistakes, things like that can be easily corrected. It wasn't as far as like not being skilled enough. It was just basically football IQ. So I do feel like they're going to do well. And like I said, we don't really know about Brady. Brady, of course, we know what he's going to do now. Of course, he would be number one if we're looking at that. But I still will go Carr and then Fields. And then, I don't even think I would even consider the Steelers QB.
All right, Heather, you're next.
I don't know with this one. I just, I think Brady's seen his day. I don't like Derek Carr.
How can you not like Derek Carr? Seriously.
Thank you. What
has he ever done to anybody? I mean, no, but seriously, what is this quarterback?
He just doesn't impress
the red
me.
flag. The red flag. Go ahead, Evan.
He just doesn't impress me. I would have to go with Detroit's QB.
Jared Goff.
Yep.
No. Scott, how about you, buddy? Out of that selection, who would it be, bud?
Well, I would go with Brady just because of his past accolades, but my choice for a young quarterback would be Justin Fields. I think he has so
I'd
much.
have to go Brady too. Has anybody not asked that? Fat Mike, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, buddy.
Tiffany hasn't answered either.
I'm going to go to Fat Mike next, then I'm going to go to Tiffany, and then we're going to do a little round table thing. My buddy Fat Mike doesn't really feel that well. I could see him in that back room. That poor guy is just like dying over there. Tiffany, out of those quarterbacks, who would you have taken? Oops, sorry.
No, I answered. I stand by my answer. As I understand the question, if you're saying right now with the teams that are being represented on this call in this moment, which of these quarterbacks, if they were in a draft class, who would I draft today? And I would go with Jared Goff. And I'll tell you, like, a lot of that has to do with some objective reasons as well. When I look at, like, let's say that how he showed up on the team was, how he came with success. He dealt with a brand new program. He's dealing with a brand new coach. The adversity that he's overcome in going from a winning program to a losing program, and then flipping it over within a year and a half and a 3-year rebuild. On top of the stats, he's connecting with his receivers. He's making smart plays. He's making adjustments. He's working incredibly well with Ben Johnson.
And that's something that's very swept under the rug. That's something that's definitely very swept under the rug, because Jared Goff did go from a winning program with the Rams and Sean McVay, and going out there to a lonely, like, docile environment of the Detroit Lions, where they had to, like, buy to win games out there, like they really did. And he goes out there and he brings them within 1 year to a 500 team fighting for a playoff spot. And listen, Jared Goff. Listen, I used to call him a poor man's Mitchell Trubisky, because I think Mitchell Trubisky stinks. But Jared Goff has shown me a lot over the last couple of years, and I give Jared Goff every ounce of credit in quarterback in the NFL right now. Jared Goff is good.
With all due respect, Mike, Jared Goff, hold on, guys. With all due respect, Jared Goff is a system quarterback. Like 2/3 of the quarterbacks are in the National Football League. It doesn't mean he's bad.
You're right.
You're right. He's great. But I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you who my quarterback would be. You give me an offensive line.
Exactly.
And you give me an offensive line, and you give me Mr. TB12, and you put him right into Detroit, and they would be the 11-3 team right now, because that offensive line right now in Detroit is one of the best in the entire National Football League. Hey, we're not going to get into the Chicago Bears because our time is running out. Tiffany, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring you up, and I want you to tell everybody that's out there where they can find you. We thank you so much for coming on tonight. Where can we find you, Tiff?
Thank you for having us. And Pris, thanks for the invitation as well. I'm in the Metro Detroit area. I tailgate down at Eastern Market. I'm with the Blue Crew, the Tub Gators, and the Uberman's Tailgate. We're out here supporting the hospice of the Upper Peninsula, the Eastern Upper Peninsula. So yeah, I'm right here in the Metro Detroit area. You can find me on Facebook. My first and last name, Tiffany Gilsbach. I am the only Tiffany Gilsbach on Facebook, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Tiffany, if you want to hang out in the back room for a few minutes, that's fine. It just takes a couple of minutes. Thank you so much for coming on the Fat Mike's Chicago Sports Show. Stand by. Pris, let me tell you something. I don't think I've met anybody that can drop as many microphones as you do. And I love the passion that you exude, especially about your Oakland. I'm sorry. I like to still call them the Oakland Raiders because that's where I think they're from. But tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, I'm very shy, so you're probably not going to be able to find me too many places. But I am in the group. My Facebook is Pris Wood, PRISWOOD. My Instagram is at Emboldenwear for all you Raiders fans. I actually am the person that owns that business with all those T-shirts. My personal Instagram is _MS_PRIS. You can find me there. The best way to find me, though, is actually in the group, NFL National Football Lovers.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Pris. Have a great one, okay? Be blessed, hon.
All right, thank you.
Heather.
Yeah.
There's something about that picture that tells me you are a huge National Football League fan, because I kind of see that little Steelers emblem just hanging up over your right ear. Tell everybody where they can find you.
So I am currently in Delaware.
She's even got the yellow and black hair, man. She's even got the yellow and black hair.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
I'm currently in Delaware. You can find me on any given game day with the Delaware Steelers Club. We are at the Green Turtle in Christiana. I'm currently probably getting ready to move to Charlotte. So I will then be a member of that Steelers Club. And you can find me on Facebook.
Perfect. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate you coming on with us. We do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
You too. Absolutely. And Scott, the lone man from south of us down in the Bradenton area.
Yeah.
Scott, we didn't get too much time to talk about the Buccaneers. I've got to get off and jump, but I want you to give a chance to go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, bud.
You can find me in Bradenton, Florida. But you can also, on game days, you can find me at Raymond James Stadium because I have had season tickets for 30 years, and I've only missed one home game in that amount of time in 30 years. So, but I also have a tailgate that I help operate with a couple other people called What the Buck Tailgate. And we welcome all opposing fans to come to it before every home game. And we've been the longest running tailgate in Tampa Bay. You can also find me on Facebook, and you can find me on my group Bucks Life or Bucks Life Media of our news page.
Perfect. Hey, man, thank you so much for coming on. We'll get the chance to talk to you soon. Okay, brother?
Yes, pleasure to meet you, man.
You as well, man. You take care of yourself. Thank you so much for coming on the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mike, how you feeling, little brother? You okay?
Gary.
You doing okay?
As hard as I can, man. This is about the best I got right now. I'm trying my hardest.
I totally get it. Mike, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you. I'm going to go ahead and close this out for you. Okay, little brother?
You find me at the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show, Fat Mike on Twitter, Fat Mike Chicago on Twitter. Find us here at 1252 Sports. Keep track of everything that we got going on here. We got the hockey show. We got my show. We got Harry and the Greek. Harry the Greek and Peter and all of his buddies up live on Sunday mornings. The betting show over at the Over Under podcast on Sunday mornings. And we got Fred Hubner for Hube's Views and Brews on Monday nights, live at 7 p.m. Central. We do have a couple of live events coming up. January 1st, live at Stagecoach in downtown Lockwood. We will be there for the Detroit Lions and Bears game. And then January 8th, we will be there live for pregame, halftime show, and postgame for the Bears and Vikings. So make sure you guys get your asses on down and come on out, eat, drink, have a good time. Oh, my God. I'm done, Harry. I got nothing else left.
I understand. Mike, I'll go ahead and close it out for you. Mike, thank you so much for coming on your own show tonight. And I'll go ahead and give my little 2-minute diatribe, and then we're going to cut out of here. Take care, brother.
I tried the best I could, Harry.
That's okay, man. His poor voice has actually been absolutely just shot. Anyway, this wraps up a really good show for Chicago Fat Mike Sports Show. The poor guy's got laryngitis. I told him he's got to wear a little jacket, but he says, I just like the cold weather. Mike, you got to understand, buddy. You got to come down to Tampa. You got to start living it up. You could still be a Bear fan and live in the greater Tampa Bay area. And you know what? The Greek might even give you a job. Who knows? But I'll tell everybody you can find me. Right after this show, you can jump onto the Sports Web on all the 3 major platforms. I'm the co-host of Peter Blake on the Sports Web, but on 1252 Sports every Sunday morning right here, the Over-Under with Harry the Greek, Peter Blake, Tampa Bay Ray, and plenty of other guests. We're going to give you the hottest picks in the National Football League. And as I always say, keep your bets low and your returns high. Thanks for tuning in to the Fat Mike Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Good night.
You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.